What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. Matt, we didn't expect to win, but it was very, very frustrating and ugly in some sense. What did you think? Trey Lance obviously had his first start, very up and down. Quick recap on your end.
I mean, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was Trey Lance being a raw rookie who, needed a lot of help around him. And I'm just going to come out and say it. In every facet of the game, the 49ers failed Trey Lance. That's plain and simple.
Most definitely. They did. And we said it, multiple people said it going into the game. The veterans need to step up, and we did not see them do that. Unfortunately, we saw Sanu with a huge drop, offensive lineman. I mean, I can't even count how many holds were called on the Niners today. It was atrocious. It really was atrocious. Jay Mar's asking, how is our defensive coordinator out coaching our so-called genius in every game this year? First-year defensive coordinator.
He's not, though. Like, you guys look at the score and think that's indicative of D'Amico Ryan's calling this great game, but they're still giving up way too much on third downs. They're still committing way too many penalties. They got a turnover today, thank God, but it's only their second one in 5 games. Like, what are you guys looking at? You're looking at a final score, but that doesn't tell the whole story of the game. Josh Norman was burnt toast. Emmanuel Mosley was burnt toast. That DB room sucks. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Just because the score wasn't higher than it was, that's more indicative on what the 49ers did on offense rather than what it did with on defense or whatever. So
yeah, and what's unfortunate too is that when they actually did get the turnover, the 49ers offense wasn't able to do anything with it. They had the chance to kind of go and I believe tie it up, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe get within 3. I forget what point of the game that was. Oh, man, it was ugly all over. Like I said, the holdings were insane. Guys, real quick, if you're watching on Twitter, go over to our YouTube channel. Twitter got rid of Periscope, and now we cannot see or interact with any of your comments on Twitter. Go to YouTube, search 49ers Hive, and we'll be live. Matt, you had said it yesterday. You expected a very raw performance from Trey Lance. What did you think overall? Maybe if you had to put a grade on it, what would you give Trey Lance in his first start?
It's like a C. But that's what I thought. So Jamar says because our offense ain't doing a damn thing, that's more pressure on our D. That's bullshit, dude. They outgained them, and they won the time of possession battle. They were in the red zone multiple times. And Kyle Shanahan was, 1 for 5 on fourth down plays? And 0 for 3 on fourth down plays where the call was a run? So Trey Lance threw for 1. I think the last one was one that just, it wasn't. That was late in the game or whatever. But at the same time, let's give credit where credit's due. Kyle called a terrible game. He called a lot of plays that he was overly aggressive in certain situations. I mean, they could have been a lot more into the game had he just kicked field goals in situations where he should have kicked field goals. He got overly aggressive and tried to use Trey. I mean, on one of the fourth downs, he called a quarterback power immediately after Trey had just gotten 7 yards on a quarterback power.
Yeah.
Just no imagination and just using him like he was RG3 or he was Lamar Jackson or whatever. I know a lot of people on the interception play were saying, oh, Trey should have ran that. That's the exact mentality that Kyle has, and I think that's a bad mentality. The play was there for Lance to make that throw. He just didn't execute it. The throw sailed on him and it was a pick, but it was the right read to make. And I think that Kyle did that too. He fell in love with Trey Lance and he's like, I'm going to play Trey like he's an athlete, where there were things to be had for him as a quarterback. So, but I mean, bottom line is neither coach did a great job. Let's not let D'Amico Ryan's off the hook just because Arizona scored 17 points.
Yeah. And you talk about that fourth down. I believe it was a fourth down, right, where he should have ran. Where I said it myself, he should have ran it. He had all that open room in front of him, but you said it. No, it was the right read. He went downfield. It was just simply too high. You're right. That was the right read. He could have easily have gotten that pass if he just kind of not thrown it as high. Calm down a little bit.
Hold on. The Dark Shadow. Oh man, bleeding for Kyle for not being aggressive. Then he's aggressive. Now you're bleeding because he was being aggressive, not kicking field goals. Couldn't make it up. Dude, I'm not the one that called a 4th and 2 run play where Kyle Juszczyk runs under center and takes a direct snap. So there's a difference between punting on 4th and 1 when you're at the 48 in no man's land and giving up points on a play down at the goal line where you don't necessarily know what you're getting, or going for it on 4th down with a play that you just ran.
Yeah, I agree. That's what it was unfortunate. That juice call was just atrocious to me and unacceptable. And it's unfortunate because the 49ers offense outplayed the Cardinals offense for a majority of the game, but they just couldn't get into the end zone. We saw it, and it reminded me exactly like the loss to the Seahawks. The defense came out on fire, had like 4 straight 3-and-outs, and the 49ers offense had 7 points to show for it. Whereas in this game, the 49ers offense couldn't even get into the end zone until the third quarter, I want to say, sometime around, definitely not in the first half. So Trey ended up being 15 for 29, 192 yards, 1 pick with the 58.4 rating, 6.6 yards per average, and he took 2 sacks for 6-yard loss in total. He was also the team's leading rusher, 16 carries, 89 yards with a long of 15. Matt, were you bummed out, disappointed that Elijah Mitchell in the running game wasn't more involved, because they seemed to have success early on, and then they maybe went away from that and went to Trey's arm a little more?
I was just bummed out by the whole game. I'm bummed out by the reaction of the fans who are ready to give up on Trey Lance already. I'm bummed out on what Kyle was doing. I'm bummed out on the people who were just blindly thinking that this was, whatever. It's just, it is what it is, man. They were calling plays that they thought were going to work. It didn't work out. But you can't, again, get overly aggressive with the running calls either. So I was actually really disappointed in the defense. I'm sorry, not the defense, the offensive line. Too many tip passes. That's it. I mean, it's not like Trey Lance is Kyler Murray. He's 6'4", so there shouldn't be that many bat downs. And that's just, I think that's on the offensive line for getting pushed back a lot. So
there were a lot, to the point where people were actually tweeting at me asking, how tall is Trey Lance again? There were a handful, and I know JJ Watt's kind of famous for that. However, other defensive linemen were getting it, and it was very unfortunate. Ayuk again missing in action. He had one fantastic catch where the ball placement from Trey Lance was unbelievable. I mean, you can't ask that. That's something I don't think Jimmy could do. I feel like that would have gone the other way for 6.